This is the most affordable Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 phone right now. And of course, that's got a bulk of the tech community very excited. Having said that, we tested all aspects of the phone impartially with controlling our excitement as well, considering the price is fantastic. And we tested it thoroughly in real world scenario. And at the same time, we've also compared the OnePlus 13R to the OnePlus 12. Primarily because both of these phones have the same system on chip, but most importantly to find out what kind of corner cuttings has OnePlus done to achieve this price on the OnePlus 13R. So let's get down to a detailed review of the OnePlus 13R and comparison against the OnePlus 12. Of course, we'll also talk about the OnePlus 12R along the way. Alright, if you're here for the first time, I'm Arshad. You're watching Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now, first things first, the OnePlus 13R has an upgraded RAM and storage variant for the base variant, which is nice because now what you get is 12 256GB. By default, it's LPDDR5X RAM type and UFS 4.0 storage, which is also good because this year there's going to be no controversy around the fact that the base variant has UFS 3.1 storage. So, good job, OnePlus. Now, since the 8 Gen 3 has been there in the market for a while, I expected the OnePlus 13R's performance to be, incredibly superior compared to the OnePlus 12, but that's not really the case. See, we got the best score compared to OnePlus 12, so that's good. But when you take a look at the Geekbench scores, the OnePlus 12 scores slightly higher. Now, when you look at the CPU stability score, it's nearly identical on both, which is evident from our test. We ran it in performance mode once and balanced mode once to just double check. GPU stability score is also nearly identical, that you can see from our 3D Mark Wireless test. In fact, the average FPS in our Solar Bay ray tracing test was also nearly identical. It doesn't really end there. We also played Genshin Impact for 30 minutes at highest graphics and 60 frames per second. And the average FPS out there is nearly identical too, except for the fact that the OnePlus 13R did get hotter than the OnePlus 12, but it's still within the limits of 42-43 degrees, which is not too bad. So from our testing, what it seems like is the performance tuning is largely similar on both. But what I actually expected is for the 13R to be slightly better tweaked compared to the OnePlus 12, but that's not really the case, and that seems like a bit of a letdown to me. Maybe the engineers could have worked slightly harder to get more out of this setup. By the way, talking about being let down, I'm also let down by the fact that many new viewers come and watch our videos. Of course, I'm hoping that they're helpful for you. But you know what will be even more helpful? If you do like our videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give us your support. Now, the 6000 mAh silicon carbide battery inside the 13R is definitely impressive, primarily because it's a very, very compact phone. But there's a catch here, and it's some form of corner cutting as well. Because what OnePlus has done is that it has used a single cell battery instead of a split cell one. And therefore, the charging speeds were slower than what we expected it to be. The 80 watt Superbook charger took about 50 to 53 minutes for a full charge of the OnePlus 13R. This is definitely a downgrade from the charging speeds of the OnePlus 12, which definitely has a smaller battery, but it's not too small. It's a 5400 mAh battery, and the 100 watt charger can charge from 0 to 100 in 26-27 minutes. The same is true for the OnePlus 12R as well. So the charging speeds are down by half. And of course, the OnePlus 12 also has one ace up its sleeve, and that is wireless charging, but that I can live without on the OnePlus 13R. But what I can't live without is faster charging speeds. Now, the battery life itself has been, fine, I'd say, because we're getting about 7.5 hours to 8 hours of screen on time, depending on, heavy usage to moderate usage, basically. But it's still definitely slightly lower than what we achieved with the OnePlus 12, which could go up to like 8.5-9 hours, depending on your usage. In fact, the OnePlus 12R is even better. Now, talking about network connectivity, both these phones have all the 5G bands that you would need to connect to Airtel Jio and even internationally, so that's nice. You also do get support for Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4 and NFC, all available. By the way, the beacon link feature, which I talked about in the OnePlus 13, is also available with the OnePlus 13R. So if you are somebody who likes using your phone like a walkie-talkie, you can go ahead, have fun with it. Now, the 13R's Chinese variant, which was launched as the Ace 5 in China, actually had a macro camera, but the 13R has a 2x telephoto instead, which is definitely a good move by OnePlus. Now, the primary camera of the 13R is a 50MP Sony LYT700 sensor, which is basically a rebranded version of the IMX890 used in the 12R. The secondary is the same 8MP ultra-wide-angle camera that was there on the 12R as well, whereas the telephoto camera, the 2x telephoto, is actually a Samsung JN5 50MP sensor, which is not a bad sensor, especially for a telephoto in this price class. Selfie camera is of course the same 16MP camera that we had on the 12R. Now, when you compare the specs of the 12 against the 13R, obviously on paper, the specs of the 12 are better. Now, while the camera hardware itself is one aspect of the equation, the other part of the hardware is the SoC, which is of course Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and therefore the ISP is the same on both. And therefore, let's jump to the picture. pictures to find out how the 13R's cameras perform against the OnePlus 12. So since the OnePlus 12 has a larger sensor, it definitely captures sharper textures and more details compared to the OnePlus 13R. Also, when you look at the HDR tuning, it's completely off on the 13R. It is overprocessed and kills the contrast completely as well. It's a very flat look. OnePlus 12 in comparison has a more natural, realistic look, which doesn't seem overprocessed, which is very nice. Talking about colors, the 13R's color tuning in non-HDR scenarios is kind of inconsistent. Sometimes you can get a shot that looks very good, like this one here, where the potato is not as warm as it is on the OnePlus 12. But in the very next shot, the colors are slightly boosted on the OnePlus 13R to make the image look more attractive compared to the OnePlus 12. Although it's not as offensive as the colors that were captured when we shot the HDR samples, which is downright horrendous if you ask me. Sorry, I just can't get over it. It's very bad. Now, skin tone rendition with the primary camera is not that great on both. The OnePlus 12 tends to output reddish skin tones, whereas the 13R over brightens the skin, but the 13R's colors are closer to what we saw in real life. Portrait at 1x is nearly identical in terms of edge cutout and bokeh drop off on both. At 2x, the 13R has captured more details thanks to the dedicated 2x lens, and the image also has a very high contrast look that sort of makes it look good. But the advantage with the OnePlus 12 is that it can go up to 3x, which is of course not possible on the 13R. Having said that, when shooting people, the OnePlus 13R doesn't do that bad of a job. It's actually pretty decent. I like it. Also, interestingly, the 13R's low light performance is better than what the OnePlus 12 does. Because what we noticed is you get crisper details, the algorithm is sharpening slightly to make the details look better, and you also get more details from the shadows. Now this might come as a surprise to you, but OnePlus 12 did crush the shadows, continues to crush the shadows, which the 13R doesn't because of the improved algorithm, and I kind of like that. Ultrawide on the OnePlus 12, on the other hand, considering it has a larger sensor, offers sharper textures and details in daylight. In low light, the 13R's 8MP ultrawide does something very interesting where it uses the algorithm to sharpen textures slightly, and therefore it doesn't look as bad as the soft images of the OnePlus 12, which is kind of odd because the OnePlus 12 has a 50MP ultrawide angle camera. I expected it to do better. Now the zoom performance is of course better on the OnePlus 12 for sure. Granted, at 2x the OnePlus 13R captures more details than the OnePlus 12 primarily because it has, a better camera sensor. The problem is when you zoom further ahead. At 3x, at 4x, at 6x, at 10x, all of these zoom ranges are definitely captured better by the OnePlus 12. Having said that, if you can spend some more money and buy the OnePlus 13 instead, the zoom performance on that is vastly superior compared to both these phones. Selfies are clearly better on the OnePlus 12, especially in daylight. The skin tones and details, everything's just superior. Even the selfie portraits are better on the OnePlus 12. However, we didn't notice too many differences in the low light selfies, but yeah, OnePlus 12 takes better selfies in our opinion. Finally, when it comes to video recording, again, the OnePlus 12 is better because it captures more details, it has a wider dynamic range, and more importantly, the sound quality is better too.
This is the video sample shot using the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus 13R. This is the video sample shot using the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus 13R.
In fact, the OnePlus 12 can capture Dolby Vision videos using the 1x and 3x lens, which is not possible on the 13R. Also, the problem with the 13R is that it can record 4K 60 FPS videos, but only with the primary camera. All the other cameras in the stack, which includes the selfie, the ultrawide, the telephoto, none of these capture 4K videos. In fact, they only capture 1080p 30 FPS videos. See, the OnePlus 13R's camera is definitely serviceable. I would say that, it's better. At least it's better than the OnePlus 12R in my opinion. But the problem is that the camera is still its Achilles heel. And it definitely doesn't feel flagship level like the OnePlus 12 would, and that is where OnePlus 12 has an advantage over the OnePlus 13R. Honestly though, I feel like OnePlus could be deliberately nerfing the performance so that, they can also sell OnePlus 12s. In fact, if you want the best cameras ever tuned on a OnePlus phone, the OnePlus 13 is your best bet right now. We have a detailed video, a link should pop up right now, go and check it. It is compared to the iQOO 13 in that video. Now, if you take a look at the display specs of both these phones, they're nearly identical except for three key differences. Firstly, the OnePlus 12 and actually even the OnePlus 12R, both these phones have a curved panel compared to the OnePlus 13R, which has a flat one. On the OnePlus 13R, you also do not get Dolby Vision support. In fact, you do not get HDR support on Netflix at all, so no HDR video playback is possible. But with the OnePlus 12, you do get HDR and Dolby Vision support. I feel like OnePlus shouldn't have skipped out on that feature. Now, we did test out the HDR tuning side by side on both the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus 13R, and what we noticed is definitely definitely that both are very similar in terms of the gradation, but the OnePlus 12 is slightly, ever so slightly better. But here's something that's good about the OnePlus 13R and that it doesn't skimp out on is the fact that you get 4500 nits of peak brightness in HDR content and 1600 nits of HBM peak brightness, which is the same as the OnePlus 12. So no differences there. And therefore, when you take both of these displays outside and view them under direct sunlight, both are equally bright. No problem there. However, there's one more corner cutting that OnePlus has done, and that is the fact that you do not get Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is there on the OnePlus 12, but it's also there on the OnePlus 12R. On this phone, it's the Corning Gorilla Glass 7i. We also noticed that the haptic feedback on OnePlus 12 is better than the OnePlus 13R for sure. And since I think the OnePlus 12 has more room, the speakers sound slightly roomier and they get louder compared to the OnePlus 13R. In fact, why don't you take a listen to it for yourself and let me know what you guys think. Talking about speakers and multimedia experience, you get support for all the high-res Bluetooth codecs. We did test it out, LHDC, LDAC, aptX, everything's available, no problem there. Now, one thing you must have noticed is that the design of the OnePlus 13R has been changed from the OnePlus 12R. Some like it in our office, some hate it, and I'm in the category where I'm like, I'm ambivalent. I don't have any feelings towards it. It's nice, but what I do like about the OnePlus 13R's design is the functional improvements because it uses a denser battery and therefore the phone is much slimmer compared to the OnePlus 12 and the OnePlus 12R. Also, it's lighter compared to both these phones. So therefore, the in-hand feel is much better. Also, your typical OnePlus features like the IR blaster and the alert slider both are present on the OnePlus 13R as well. But the one thing that the OnePlus 12 has and the OnePlus 13R doesn't is USB Gen 3.2, which to me is committing harakiri because on a phone that is above 40,000 rupees, it should have USB Gen 3.2, not Gen 2. By the way, if you're wondering what IP rating OnePlus 13R has, it has IP65, the same as the OnePlus 12, which is nice actually considering the fact that this is a more affordable phone. But considering way more affordable phones under 20, under 30,000 rupees have IP68 rating, some even have IP69. I think this one also could have gone with IP68, but I'm guessing that then that would be better than the OnePlus 12, which is something OnePlus wouldn't want, right? Software has to be my favorite part of these two phones, and especially a phone like the OnePlus 13R because at this price you get a very premium software experience with Oxygen OS 15. Obviously, the first thing that anybody would notice are the improved animations. You get parallel animations now, and it's just tuned so well that it feels better than iOS if you ask me. And you've got all of Oxygen OS 15's features on the OnePlus 13R. There is no gatekeeping here, so everything is available. So you get Flux themes. You also get live activities, which is one of my favorite things with the OnePlus 13R because it definitely improves over iPhone's live activities. The O+ Connect is also a very nice feature because then you can transfer photos from your OnePlus 13R to an iPhone easily. There's open canvas. There are AI features like AI Detail Boost, AI Unblur, and AI Reflection Eraser, which is definitely my favorite. By the way, one thing I must definitely mention is that Oxygen OS 15 experience on all the phones that we've tested till now, including the OnePlus 12, 13R and the 13, has been fantastic and very few bugs. Actually, I didn't notice any bug as such. As for software updates, just like the OnePlus 13, the 13R is also getting 4 + 6 years of software updates, which is very good. So after using the OnePlus 13R, what we felt is that it is a step up from the OnePlus 12R for sure, especially when you take a look at the fact that you get a 2x telephoto camera. You also do get a much more powerful processor, and it's slimmer and lighter than the OnePlus 12R. But it's not like a huge massive step up with very little corner cutting because there is corner cutting that you guys have noticed throughout the video. For example, Corning Gorilla Glass 7i. And the two reasons why I would recommend the OnePlus 13R to anyone is especially for the performance, obviously because in this price range 8 Gen 3 fantastic, and the software experience, which is very good. But if you're looking for something with great camera performance, then I'm pretty certain that there will be phones that launch in this price category later with inferior processors, of course, which will be a better bet than the OnePlus 13R. Now, comparing these two phones, what I feel is that currently the OnePlus 12 is very expensive. But once the OnePlus 13 launch happens, I'm pretty certain that OnePlus will have to drop the price of the OnePlus 12 if it wants to continue selling it. Now, when that happens, and if the OnePlus 12 comes to about say 55,000, 60,000, then definitely the OnePlus 12 will have advantages that make it more premium. For example, you'll get wireless charging and a better camera experience for sure, and it just feels a lot more premium to use compared to the OnePlus 13R. So that was my deduction of using the OnePlus 13R. What do you guys think? How do you like the OnePlus 13R? Do you like it a lot? Do you like it okay? Do you like it not at all? Let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.